Hello, my name is Yvonne McDermott Rees. I'm a Professor of Law at Swansea University, and I'm delighted to share with you some projects that have been made possible through the support of CHERISH-DE. So I've called this presentation, Thank You, CHERISH-DE. And the reason I've called it this is that it's no exaggeration to say that Cherish has had a profound impact on my research over the last few years. As you'll see, it's led to some fantastic projects and some really productive collaborations. So thank you, CHERISH-DE and all of the team. So where did it all begin? This is a picture from 2017. In the summer of 2017, I took part in the CHERISH-DE Crucible. And through the Crucible, I learned loads about making sure your research has impact and getting your research findings across to various audiences. But moreover, I met some amazing people who you'll hear about now. So one thing that I've been interested in as a research interest for several years now is what John Henry Wigmore called the science of judicial proof, the means through which judges assess and analyse and weigh up all of the evidence that's presented over the course of a trial. And in the CHERISH-DE Crucible, I met Federico Cerruti, who's someone who has a similar interest, but from the perspective of computer science. So Federico is interested in argumentation mapping, argumentation schemes, and technology through which AI can be used to help map arguments. So putting those two research interests together, we applied it to this practical case coming from the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. And without going too much into the details, in essence, there was a particular factual finding that the trial chamber had made that was quite controversial and was one of the things that was coming up on appeal. So Federico and I got together and did what's called an amicus curiae brief, a friend of the court brief, to map the particular inferential steps that were taken by the trial chamber and the evidence that was used to lead it to this one conclusion that was at issue on appeal. And as you can see here, it did get some press coverage in the Balkans, and we actually submitted this brief to the court. So that can be found online if you're interested in finding out more. Two other people who I met through the Crucible are Phil Barty from Heriot-Watt University in Scotland and Risa Batista Navarro from the University of Manchester. So Phil is an expert in geospatial intelligence. Risa's expertise lies in natural language processing. And in one of the coffee breaks during the Crucible, we started to talk about open source evidence and how it's transforming human rights fact-finding. So in essence, this is where ordinary people in the course of armed conflicts or situations of mass human rights violations are picking up their mobile phones and recording that content. And that content can be really relevant for human rights investigations and fact-finding and accountability processes. So we started to think about how some of Phil and Risa's research might be useful to human rights investigators in this context. And ultimately, we put together a large multidisciplinary project proposal together with some other colleagues, Dara Murray from the University of Essex, who's a fellow human rights lawyer, Alexa Koenig from the University of California, Berkeley, and Sam Dubberly from Amnesty International. And this has been a 2.5-year project funded by the ESRC, where we've looked at the impact that open source research is having on human rights fact-finding. And as part of that, we've developed some tools to assist human rights investigators in their work. So this includes facial recognition tools, tools using natural language processing to detect hate speech, for example. So yeah, it's been really a fascinating project to work on. And again, thanks to the CHERISH-DE, because I would never have had the opportunity to meet Risa and Phil were it not for the Crucible. kind of related to that, one organisation I work very closely with is called GLAN, the Global Legal Action Network. So GLAN is an NGO that takes innovative legal actions to ensure accountability for human rights violations around the world. And one project that they're working on at the moment is to do with airstrikes in Yemen. And they approached me in 2018 with this idea that they needed to store evidence, including this kind of open source evidence that we've just spoken about, but also closed evidence, witness testimony, photographs taken by a local NGO that's actually based in Yemen. So with the support of CHERISH-DE, we managed to put together a workshop in July 2018 where we discussed the principles of developing an evidence database. So what methodology should be followed in collecting evidence, how should evidence best be stored, what potential use is there for blockchain, for example, in ensuring the chain of custody requirements of courts. And that brought together experts from the UN, also human rights lawyers, criminal law barristers, people like Bellingcat, who do a lot of this open source investigation work. And we developed a set of principles thanks to this workshop and the support of CHERISH-DE. And ultimately, this led to a follow-on project which received funding from Nesta on documenting mass human rights violations through collective intelligence. So how can this collective intelligence be harnessed to ensure accountability for human rights violations? So through this project, we actually put into effect the principles that were developed in the workshop by creating an actual database. And another aspect of the project was the development of machine learning tools to help analyze videos. So in this context, an algorithm was developed by one of our project partners to detect cluster munitions in videos. You can read more about this if you Google this project. There's a video where we give a lot more detail on it. Lastly, and most recently, again, thanks to support from CHERISH, I've been working on a project that seeks to develop a secure platform for reporting human rights violations, this time in the Philippines. So this received some funding also from Swansea University's GCRF, the Global Challenges Research Fund. And on it, we're working with a partner university in Manila in the Philippines, and also some local NGO partners. So the idea is to create a platform through which witnesses can send through accounts of human rights violations that they are witnessing. As people will probably be aware at the moment, in the context of the war on drugs in the Philippines, this is a big issue. And the hope is that this will all securely store these accounts for future accountability processes. So once again, thank you very much to CHERISH-DE, to all the team for your wonderful support over the years. And you know, for me, CHERISH has not only changed my research pathway, but it's also really been quite life-changing in terms of the amazing people I've gotten to meet over the years and to collaborate with and continue to collaborate with today. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.